Janet, mid-40s, poised and composed, walks through the floor, her expression a mix of fatigue and quiet determination. On her desk sits a small carved wooden owl totem, catching the morning light, symbolic of wisdom and moral clarity. Cut to Robert's office, glass wall. Robert, late 50s, CEO, polished, arrogant, is standing near a young employee, David, late 20s, who looks nervous and uncertain. David, I've been reviewing the leadership candidates. Frankly, I don't see you fitting the profile. Perhaps someone with a more suitable background would suit this role. David's shoulders slump. He struggles to speak, his voice low. I... I thought my last project met the goals. Robert, interrupting, cold. Goals, results are secondary. It's about image, Janet. You understand that, right? Janet, standing just outside the office, freezes at the tone. She clenches her jaw, her hand subtly reaching for her phone under her jacket to record. Janet, quietly, controlled. Robert, you're judging him for reasons that have nothing to do with his performance. Robert turns toward her, smirking, arrogance thick. Janet, sentimentality has its limits. Leadership isn't about being fair, it's about knowing who belongs. Janet's eyes narrow. She lifts her phone discreetly, holding it in her hand just enough to capture the conversation without being noticed. Camera focuses on the phone screen recording, silently. Janet, calm, resolute. Limits shouldn't be set by bias. His work is beyond question. Robert, leaning forward, voice dropping into a menacing whisper. Watch your step, Janet. Janet slowly slips the phone into her bag, hiding it. The camera lingers on the carved owl totem on her desk, its eyes catching the morning light, a silent symbol of wisdom and patience and moral vigilance. Janet walking back to her desk, employees busy around her. Tension hangs in the air, subtle but heavy. Janet sits down, breathes steadily, and glances at the owl totem again, fingers brushing its surface as if drawing strength. Camera zooms in on her eyes, a mix of fear and resolve. Close up on Robert. He glances toward Janet suspiciously, but doesn't act. The smirk fades briefly, replaced by a hint of wariness. Robert, muttering under his breath, "Watch your step." Fade out. Heartbeat sound lingers.
Then you fight smart. Documents, emails, recordings, like what you have, testimonies from colleagues. That's how change happens. Not by hiding, by confronting the system with truth. Janet glances at her bag where the secretly recorded phone rests. Her hands tremble slightly, then she steadies herself, her gaze hardening. I can't let fear decide. Not anymore. Maya places a reassuring hand on Janet's shoulder. You're not alone. Look at me. I've walked this road. The system will try to intimidate you, but the law and truth are on your side. Evidence speaks louder than threats. Janet nods slowly, a small but determined smile forming. She opens her laptop and begins organizing files, documents, and emails. Resolved. Then we do it, carefully, step by step. I'll gather what we need, and we'll make it undeniable. Her phone buzzes. She picks it up. A notification appears. Encrypted. Unknown sender. Phone screen. I know what you recorded. Be careful. Janet's breath catches. Maya notices, her expression sharpening. This isn't just a warning. It's a threat. Be cautious, but don't let it stop you. Fear is a tool. Use it to focus, not paralyze. Janet stares at the message, then slowly places the phone down on the table, her fingers brushing the carved owl totem on the shelf. She draws strength from its symbolism. I won't. I won't be silent. Not for him, not for anyone he's hurt. Maya nods approvingly, a quiet smile. Good. Now we start building the story of the truth. Every email, every testimony, every voice suppressed, it's your weapon. Int. Company boardroom, afternoon. The boardroom is expansive, glass walls overlooking the city skyline. Sunlight glints off polished surfaces. Executives shuffle papers, uneasy. Robert sits at the head of the table, smug and confident. Janet stands at the opposite end, folders, USB sticks, and documents spread deliberately in front of her. The carved owl totem from her desk now sits subtly on a side credenza, symbolizing wisdom and integrity. Janet takes a slow breath, then addresses the room, calm authority resonating in her voice. I am here to present evidence of systemic discrimination and favoritism in this company. Emails, recordings, and testimonies from employees who were silenced or denied opportunities, all of it. Robert leans back, smirking, trying to control the narrative. Robert, are we really resorting to theaters? This is a professional setting, not a courtroom drama. Janet, voice steady, piercing. This is not theaters. These are facts, and the facts speak louder than fear or power. She plugs the USB into the boardroom screen. Video clips play Robert making discriminatory comments, denying promotions based on gender and ethnicity. Executives shift uncomfortably. Murmurs ripple through the room. Board Member 1. We need to take this seriously. Board Member 2, leaning forward, concerned. This is damning. Robert slams his hand on the table, voice rising with fury. You have no idea what you're doing, Janet. Legal action will follow. Janet, unflinching, voice calm but authoritative. This is not a threat. It's a promise. I will not be silent. Not for me, not for everyone he's wronged or hurt, and I have the evidence to prove it. Int. Boardroom hallway, night. Janet walks out of the boardroom, head held high. Robert storms out after her, face furious.
I am not here to fight you. I am here to ensure justice for employees you have silenced. The evidence is clear. Your personal vendettas end where integrity begins. Camera pans to the executives. Shock gives way to clarity. Fear of Robert fades as trust in Janet grows. The balance of power shifts visibly. The owl totem glows subtly in the sunlight, reflected in the polished table, the symbol of wisdom guiding them. Robert arises abruptly, anger clouding his composure. Robert, snarling. You think this board will support you? Think again. I will ruin your career for this. Janet, meeting his gaze, unshaken. The truth cannot be silenced, and integrity cannot be bought. Every action you take now only confirms what everyone already knows. The room falls silent. Executives exchange glances. The moral authority is undeniable. Janet has become the voice of justice, and the room responds to truth, not fear. Camera cut to close-up, Janet. Her eyes are resolute, lips set. A hint of the owl totem's shadow crosses the frame, the symbol of enduring wisdom and moral guidance. Courtroom, HR tribunal, morning. Tone, resilient, emotionally charged, dignified struggle, moral victory under pressure. The room is stark, sterile, yet charged with tension. Media cameras flash, capturing every moment. Janet sits at the witness table, hands clasping the carved owl keychain she brought for comfort. Her posture is upright, composed, but her eyes reveal exhaustion and resolve. Robert watches from the gallery, flanked by allies who murmur under their breath, attempting to intimidate her. HR representative. Ms. Janet, are you certain of the accuracy of these statements and evidence you've presented? Janet, looking directly at the tribunal, calm, unwavering. I am certain. Every document, every recording, every testimony has been verified, and I am certain that systemic abuse thrives only in silence. It must end. The tribunal nods, taking notes. The camera cuts to a wide shot as video testimonies begin. Employees recount experiences of subtle bias, denied promotions, and daily microaggressions. The room reacts. Some whisper, Some eyes glisten with emotion. Janet arises, placing the carved owl keychain gently in the middle of the table. It catches the light, symbolizing moral clarity and wisdom amidst the struggle. Janet, voice steady, resonant. This totem represents guidance and truth. I place it here for every employee silenced, every voice dismissed, every act of unfairness overlooked. The patterns of abuse must end now. Maya, seated among supporters, gives a quiet nod. Other employees in the room subtly show signs of encouragement, small gestures, supportive glances. Camera cuts to Robert, attempting to maintain a facade of control, but his frustration is evident. Allies shift uncomfortably, realizing Janet has turned the tribunal and public opinion in her favor. Janet continues, presenting a video compilation of testimonies, her voice unwavering. This is not a vendetta. This is accountability. This is justice, and it belongs to everyone who has been denied it. The tribunal murmurs. Media scribes record every word. Public opinion is clearly aligning with Janet. Robert's influence is waning in real time. As Janet leaves the tribunal, her steps measured, the carved owl keychain tucked safely in her bag, a shadowy figure in the hallway whispers behind her. Figure, whispering, "This isn't over." Janet pauses, her hand briefly tightening around the owl. Her gaze is steady, her resolve strengthened. She continues walking forward, symbolizing resilience and moral courage. Camera pans out. The corridor stretches ahead, sunlight filtering through blinds. The totem glimmers subtly, reflecting the enduring power of truth and wisdom. The city stretches below, bathed in golden-orange light as the sun begins to set. Wind stirs lightly across the rooftop. Janet stands near the edge, the carved owl totem in her hand, now glowing warmly in the sunset, a symbol of wisdom, integrity, and resilience. Robert approaches, attempting to project menace, leaning against the railing with a forced calm. "You really think this ends with a few board meetings and HR rulings? You've made powerful enemies, Janet." "No. This ends with accountability. You may have had influence once, but power built on fear and deceit crumbles in the light of truth." Robert steps closer, his face a mixture of frustration and disbelief. He tries to shake her, metaphorically and literally, with intimidation, but Janet remains composed. "This totem is more than a symbol. It represents every voice silenced, every injustice overlooked. You cannot intimidate the truth, Robert. And the system now stands with it." Robert falters, realization dawning. His isolation is clear. The rooftop, wide and open, emphasizes his vulnerability. "You think you've won? This isn't over." "It is over for you. The fight continues, yes, but not because of me, because of everyone who refuses to stay silent. Justice isn't personal. It's institutional. It's enduring." She places the owl totem gently on the rooftop ledge, the wind catching its shadow, projecting it outward over the city, a visual metaphor for lasting wisdom, moral courage, and the legacy of integrity. Her phone rings. Janet answers. A new initiative against workplace discrimination is underway, signaling reform and the continuation of justice beyond Robert's personal influence. She listens, a small, hopeful smile forming. Janet, voiceover. "We all carry the power to stand, to speak, and to act. Courage isn't loud. It's measured, persistent, and disciplined. One person, one voice can shift the balance. Truth, when wielded wisely, reshapes the world. Camera pans wide. City skyline. Sunset fading into twilight. The owl totem sits on the ledge, silhouetted, a quiet symbol of justice, wisdom, and moral legacy. YouTube CTA. If you've ever faced injustice at work or in life, share your story in the comments. Let's inspire change together. Subscribe for more cinematic tales of courage, resilience, and truth.